Hello, welcome back. Okay, let's continue. Question, were there any tragic events last year? Of course, there were quite a few. Eventos o acontecimientos trágicos en el mundo. Last year, there were quite a few. Every year, there are a lot of tragic events. A lot of tragic events. The question of whether el que te afecten directamente o no es otra cuestión. Whether those events affect you or not is another question. But last year, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of tragic events. Every death, every accident, every vehicle accident was a tragic event. Every plane crash, every typhoon, every tornado in the central United States, which is where it's very common. Every hurricane was a tragic event for some people, or perhaps for many people. Tragic. Event es acontecimiento. Yes, there were a lot of tragic events last year, but that's normal. That's nature. That happens. Okay, it's part of life. And weather, volviendo a weather, que está saliendo mucho en estos programas, el que dichos acontecimientos os afecten o os hayan afectado es otra cuestión. Whether those events, those tragic events, affect you or have affected you is entirely another question, okay? People tend to get a deformed view or a warped view, a deformed view of events because of the media, television, radio, the press. Nowadays, in current times, we receive in our living room or in our bedroom on television, we receive news, graphic news usually, of events happening on the other side of the planet, on the other side of the world, and we get sometimes a deformed view of the reality of what's happening. And you get the impression, I get the impression, we all get the impression que todo va al garete. Everything is pandemonium in the world. In this country, there are problems. In that country, there are problems. In this country. And what we don't realize is what we see on TV is less than 1% of the daily life of what people do. For example, can you imagine waking up in the morning, getting dressed, okay, going to work, you go to your car, you get into your car, you turn on the radio to listen to the news, and can you imagine a newsman or a woman on the radio saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have an important piece of news. Tengo una noticia importante." Digo trozo de noticias, porque news es abstracto, no es concreto, no es una palabra contable. We just say one news. Una noticia no se puede decir en inglés. Algo de noticias decimos some news. I have some important news. I have some important news. Tengo una noticia importante. Hay tres formas de decirlo. I have some important news for you. I have an important piece of news. Ahora, los trozos sí son contables. 1, 2, 3. One piece of news, two pieces of news. Or I have an important news item. Personalmente prefiero el primero. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some important news for you. This morning, between 6 a.m. and 8:30 a.m., of the 45 million people who live in this country, more than 43 million got up successfully and left home and are producing or are learning in the schools. Now, if you hear that on the radio, you're going to think that, my God, this newscaster or this newsman is crazy, okay? Because he's giving news that's not interesting. The fact that last night, of the 45 million people who live in this country, 44,967,000 went to bed and slept during the night successfully and have got up this morning and are producing or learning or doing something more or less currently productive or productive for the future. It's simply not an interesting news item. It's simply not. We prefer to hear that 5 people died in traffic accidents yesterday, or we prefer to hear that there was an explosion in Baghdad or in Mexico City or in Jakarta, etc. And so we prefer to hear these isolated events, some of which can impact our lives, but which usually don't. Okay? They usually don't. Okay? We go about our business. We continue, we get up, we go to work, we produce, we love, we hate, we shout, we fight, we eat, we enjoy life, or we don't enjoy life, and we just go on through our lives. And really, nothing earth-shaking, que hace mover la tierra, happens in our lives. Okay? But we spend every day on the web or on television receiving these impacts of unusual things that are happening. So we get a deformed idea of reality. I remember when I came to live here in this country, I was quite young. During those periods already, there was terrorist activity. There were bombs. There were shootings. There were people who were killed. And I remember in the first several years, my parents often called me and they said, "Are you okay?" I got, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. How's everything going?" I said, "Are you all right?" I said, "What? Yeah, why? Why? What's the matter?" "No, we're seeing on the news that there was a bomb." "Oh, yeah? Where?" There was a bomb in Bilbao, for example. I said, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay, it was a terrorist." Of course, the probability or the likelihood, aquí digo la probabilidad de dos formas, la forma latina y la forma anglosajona. The probability or the likelihood that I will be physically harmed, killed, or injured by a terrorist act is very, very remote. It's possible, but it's incredibly remote. It's much more possible that I will be killed in a car accident. It's much more than in a terrorist attempt. But my parents called me all the time because the only news that they received in the United States about Spain was that. And so they had the idea, my parents had the impression that everything was disorganized, things were happening, everything was anarchic, bombs exploding everywhere. And when they came here the first time, they realized that the reality was traffic jams, people going to work, coming to work, okay, air pollution, the typical things of any country in any big city, okay? They realized that life went on normally. Okay, so, question, were there any tragic events last year? Yes, there were. And already this year, there have been quite a few tragic events. And we're only at the relative beginning of the year. So, aquí he usado there were para el pasado, and there have been para el presente perfecto. Presente perfecto, ha habido, hasta ahora ha habido. Okay, this year, there have been quite a few tragic events. Okay, question number 2, would you be here listening to me? Would you be watching me on your TV if your English were perfect? Would you? I don't think so. There are a lot of channels on TV, and you have that remote. You have a remote in your hand. You can hold the remote and, okay, this is not a remote, but let's pretend. Hacemos como si fuera. Let's pretend this is a remote. Bam! And you can zap. Okay, zapping es una palabra inglesa, ojo. You can zap. Bum, 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 bum. And you can change channels. And if your English were perfect, I would recommend that you change channels because this program is not designed for you. This program, my specific program is designed for people who have a intermediate level, high intermediate, or low intermediate, but to expose your ear to the English language and to learn some vocabulary and some structures to consolidate your knowledge and abilities with some things, but especially simply for the ear. When I speak to you, my most important objective is not to teach you si yo fuera, if I were. It's important, of course, but it's because all of the talking, all of the English noise that's coming out of my mouth, I want it to caress your ears and to open your ears to the language. And in 5 or 6 months, if you continue watching my program and other programs, you will notice a difference. You will notice that you're understanding better. You'll become more motivated, perhaps, and you'll become surprised and pleasantly surprised. And, wow, me noto mejor. La última reunión fue en Alemania, pero me noté mucho más suelto. Okay, that's my objective, okay? And it's going to take time. So I have to make the program as interesting as possible. And my colleagues on the other shows on Aprender Inglés TV, we have to make it as interesting as possible because the English language is very difficult to learn well, and it's an uphill battle, una batalla cuesta arriba, uphill, downhill, cuesta abajo, uphill, todo junto, up como arriba, con colina, is cuesta arriba. And it's an uphill fight, okay? It's an uphill battle. And if you become demotivated, I have a problem and you have a problem, so you can't become demotivated. So I teach in the middle level, raising it a bit, but I want the most important simply that you pay attention and try to understand me without making a strong effort. Don't try. Don't make an intense effort to understand me. If you don't understand me perfectly, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't get obsessed. Okay? Quiero una obsesión por parte hacia el inglés, eso sí, pero quiero una sana obsesión, no una insana obsesión. Healthy obsession, okay, with the English language. Now, if you don't understand me perfectly, don't worry, because with time, así decimos con el paso del tiempo, with time, you will understand me better and better. Cada vez mejor. Se repite en inglés mejor y mejor. Y cada vez más alto, taller and taller. Cada vez más corto, shorter and shorter. Cada vez más difícil, more and more difficult, harder and harder. Okay. With time, you will understand me better and better. And if you only understand 50 or 60% of what I'm saying, okay, if I show you in writing what I'm saying, you would understand 90 or 95%. Dice, anda, ¿cómo es que no le entiende? Es que está clarísimo. Y no le he entendido. Okay? So, if you're not understanding perfectly, in most cases, it's not because I'm using vocabulary or expressions you don't understand. ¿Qué va? No. It's not because of that. It's simply because your ear is not discriminating sounds. And so it's necessary to expose your ear to the sound of the language for many hours. And then finally, you begin to penetrate los entresijos de esta fonética de enlazar palabras, como decís en castellano, tira pa'lante, para darte cuenta que pa'lante significa para adelante. Okay? And it's the same in English. And finally, you'll say, anda, me noto mucho mejor. And you'll be motivated and you will want to learn more. Y es un círculo virtuoso, no vicioso. Okay, es una espiral para arriba, no para abajo. So, so you will make more effort and your progress will become exponential because you're motivated. You're liking the language. That's my job. Okay, that's why teachers are important. Okay, teacher's job is not to teach. A teacher's job is to make you learn. Okay. And to make you learn means you have to be motivated, because if you're not motivated, you're not going to learn because you're not really interested in el fondo. Deep down, así se dice en inglés. Deep, profundo, abajo, literalmente. Deep down es nuestra forma en inglés de decir en el fondo. En el fondo no vas a aprender porque en el fondo no estás interesado de verdad en aprender, si no estás motivado. So my job is to motivate you. My job is to make the English language attractive, fun, interesting, stimulating, okay? And if I achieve that objective, escrito achieve, que es lograr, conseguir dicho objetivo. If I achieve that objective, if I accomplish, otra forma, como en francés, accomplir, or in Spanish, cumplir. If I accomplish that objective, then 90% of my job is finished, because you're going to do the rest. Okay, tú vas a hacer el camino caminante. Y no hay camino, como decía Machado, pero el caminante se hace al andar y tienes que andar mucho, okay? All right, the next one, let's see. Are my eyes the same color as yours? Probably not. Because I think in Spain, maybe only 20% of the people have fair eyes. Digo fair, okay? Light color. There are two types of eyes, basically. Dark eyes and fair eyes. Fair, tienen tienen 10 significados, okay? Fair. Okay, fair. El sonido fonético fair, porque hay dos spellings, two spellings. Fair, fair, como una feria, la feria del campo. Country fair. Feria de muestras, a trade fair. Okay, a trade fair. Okay, fair. Fair also means justo, lo mismo, escrito fair. No es justo. It's not fair. It's not fair. I'm paid X euros for every class, and the guy on the other program in the morning is paid 20% more than me. It's not fair, in my opinion. I demand the same as the other guy. It's not fair, all right? Injusto is unfair, UN delante, unfair. Fair también significa bella, o normalmente bella porque se usa más para mujer, pero es un inglés más antiguo. De ahí viene My Fair Lady. My Fair Lady, the famous movie based on the play Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. Literalmente mi bella dama. Okay, My Fair Lady. Okay, so fair also means beautiful. Fair has many other meanings, okay? Now, fair means clara, tez clara, a fair complexion, fair, a fair complexion. Do you have a dark complexion? An olive complexion? A fair complexion? All right. A ruddy red complexion? Okay. Complexion, escrito complexión, casi en español. However, it's completely different. In Spanish, complexión means the physical features, torso, everything. De complexión fuerte means he's strong, okay? But it's completely different in English. Ojo, mucho cuidado con la palabra complexion. Y se usa mucho. Complexion in English is your skin, especially the skin on your face, all right? You can have a dark complexion, tez oscura, morena, for example, aceitunada. Olive complexion, olive is oliva, aceituna. An olive complexion. Me, I have a fair complexion, typical of a Nordic or Anglo-Saxon person, even though I grew up in an area probably hotter than the center of Spain, okay? In Texas and Oklahoma, it's very hot, okay? But I have a fair complexion, and I have fair eyes. My eyes are green, although most people, when they look at my eyes, they swear my eyes are blue. Juran, but it's not true. My eyes are green, okay? Now, are my eyes the same color as yours? Probably not, because most people in Spain have dark eyes, brown, and some people, their eyes look almost black, but they're not, but they're very dark brown, ojos negros, okay? And they're beautiful, beautiful dark eyes. The Spanish women are very, very attractive. I remember probably the first poet in Spanish literature to talk about the dark Spanish eyes from the point of view of beauty was Gustavo Adolfo Becker, our poet, originally from Andalusia, who spent a lot of his time in Soria. Now that man was the first, I think, he was the first poet to focus on the dark complexion of the Spanish woman and her dark eyes. Before that, they were talking about los ojos azules de la doncella. Nah. But that's not reality in Spain. The beauty of the Spanish woman is the dark eyes, okay? And it's very beautiful. So my eyes are probably not the same color as yours, because I think only about 20% of the people or 30% of the people in this country have fair eyes and a fair complexion, okay? Most of the people have Mediterranean complexion, which is a bit darker than the Nordic or the Central European or the Anglo-Saxon complexion. Next question. Does the President of Spain wear blue jeans in public events? I've never seen him in public events in blue jeans, but to be sincere, I really don't pay that much attention. I don't watch TV very much, even though I'm on TV now. I don't watch TV very much. But I really don't pay that much attention. But does he wear blue jeans in public events? I don't think so. Blue jeans is the standard word for vaqueros. Vaqueros, los pantalones vaqueros. Jeans, se puede quitar el blue, porque no son siempre azules. Jeans, pero la palabra estándar, clásica es blue jeans. And blue jeans are very comfortable. And they've been around for many, many, many years. They've been around for many years. And they became popular when I was a little boy, really. When I was growing up, maybe about 8, 9, 10 years old, that's when blue jeans became popular. Before that, we had other kinds of material, tela, other kinds of material for our trousers. And when I was a kid was when blue jeans really became popular. And they're still popular. And they'll probably continue to be popular because they are strong, robust, and comfortable. And they last a long time. Okay? Blue jeans. Now, I've never seen, as far as I can remember, que yo recuerde, en inglés inserto can, que yo pueda recordar. Se dice mucho así en inglés. As far as I can remember, I've never seen the President of Spain wearing blue jeans in a public event, en un acontecimiento público. Okay. But I imagine he perhaps could wear blue jeans in the Moncloa, in his palace where he works and lives. Why not? It depends on the type of relationship he has with the people working there, the administrative staff, and his immediate collaborators. But I imagine he probably wears a suit or something similar, I imagine. But I don't really know. I've never been in the Moncloa. Have you? All right. To wear blue jeans, does the President of Spain wear blue jeans in public events? No, he doesn't. Next question. Can a lion tamer afford to make mistakes? I don't know if I have enough time to develop this question. Of course, the answer is no. A lion tamer can't afford to make mistakes because, y no me estáis entendiendo la mitad de vosotros, pero voy a seguir, luego os explico. Because if a lion tamer makes a mistake, it often costs him his life. Okay. To tame, escrito tame. 4 letters, T-A-M-E. To tame is amansar o domar. La fierecilla domada, obra de Shakespeare, muy graciosa, is the taming, o sea, literalmente la doma de la fierecilla. The taming of the shrew. Bueno, shrew más que una fierecilla, shrew es una arpía, es una mujer insoportable, shrew. The taming of the shrew. Now, to tame is amansar, domar, okay? Now, a lion tamer is un domador de leones. Is a person who works in the circus. His place of work is the circus. Fijaos, digo circus, no circus. Sir, como sí señor. ¿Cómo se dice sí señor en inglés? Yes, sir. Sir. Circus. All right? Cus. No cus. Circus. A lion tamer works in a circus. And he has 2 tools to control the lions. He has a whip, a big bull whip. Se llama látigo de toro, se dice en inglés, esos largos, like Indiana Jones. It's a bull whip. And a chair. Okay, those are his 2 instruments of work. And my question to you is, I don't understand why a lion tamer uses a chair. Why haven't they invented some other instrument better than a simple chair? But lion tamers always use a chair. Okay? A wooden chair. And it's interesting to know why. I don't know why. Have you ever asked yourself that question? Why do lion tamers use chairs? Well, we don't have time today to answer this question, and besides, con mucha S al final, I don't know the answer myself. But the question, ¿puede un domador de leones permitirse el lujo de cometer errores? Pues no. A lion tamer can't afford to make mistakes. And if you want to learn English, you can't afford not to study. Not to study. To be or not to be, to study or not to study. You can't afford not to study. You need to study and you need to help me in my job, which is to make you to learn. It's an interesting symbiosis, pero tiene que funcionar. Por favor, ayúdame. All right. See you. Bye-bye.